I ain't been asleep in some weeks, man. So much on my mind that I have a young and tweaking. Shorty on my line, she keep calling for no reason. But I ain't got the time, girl, I hope you get the meaning. Yeah. I ain't been asleep in some weeks, man. So much on my mind that I have a young and tweaking. Shorty on my line, she keep calling for no reason. But I ain't got the time, girl, I hope you get the meaning. Yeah. I don't get no sleep on the weekend. Going up her phone 3 a.m., but she was sleeping. Text you not deliver, man, I thought that she was cheating.
It has been a very long couple of nights. I have not been getting optimal sleep whatsoever, if you can't tell from the bags under my eyes and the fact that I look like I've been doing drugs. It's literally just been late night benders of work and research and building out some infrastructure for my first info product. I have refrained from creating an info product around, and for any of you guys that don't know me, my name is Golden Blades, and I have run my own social media marketing agency for over 6.5, damn near 7 years now. And it's interesting. For the longest time, I always was focused on just building my agency. I saw all the success that a lot of the top guys within the agency space were having, financially speaking, building personal brands that were massive, selling info products correlated with building an agency. And I won't lie, I've been enticed since I started. I think at one point in time, in like year 1 or 2 of building my agency, I had signed my first handful of clients, and I had managed to do so in rural upstate New York with no real access to wealth, people, a network, or businesses around me that could afford to do social media marketing services, let alone would see the benefit of it necessarily. To give you a little bit of insight into just how small of a town I grew up in, I had 21 kids in my graduating class at a public school, and we were the biggest class in school, I believe, at the time. And so I think like year 1 or 2, I was like, damn, I don't think many people have probably built an agency under these circumstances. Like, I had to do cold Instagram video DM outreach. I had all kinds of approaches that I was implementing in order to sign that first handful of clients. And so I was like, wow, I feel like I definitely have a unique perspective on this. And I 100% understood what it was like to be underestimated, misunderstood by everyone around you, and to have to figure out how to get clients without necessarily having the opportunity to do what I had been brought up on, which is just business is done by shaking hands. Agreements are come by having face-to-faces with people. And so I had to figure out how to do that, how to close people on sales calls via Zoom that I had never met in my entire life. And so I was very enticed to launch my own info product and teach other people too on how they could build an agency. I literally learned to thrive in the trenches. And I spent every waking moment in those trenches while building the business out of my parents' basement. And in some of my previous videos, I have literally showed what that office looked like. I'll never forget during the winter months in upstate New York, it was an unfinished basement, just a concrete basement. And it would get pretty cold down there some days. And I remember literally having to bring a warm blanket downstairs, wrap it around myself, and then underneath my desk at the time, I would plug in a space heater. And I would run that space heater under the blanket, and then every 30 minutes to an hour, my fingers would start going numb typing on my keyboard down there. And so I would have to put my hands under the blanket for a little bit close to the space heater to warm them up again. And so I just felt like I had the grit. I felt like I had the experience in the trenches, and I wanted to just launch an info product, and I refrained from doing so. I decided not to do it at the time. Mostly, I think because I just didn't want to be another course guy. Like I was like, okay, like 1 to 2 years in this game in the trenches doing this shit. But every business owner that I had come to know or that I had met or that I genuinely respected had a business that stayed above ground for 5+ years. Like they had been in the game long enough for me to be like, okay, like they've seen not one hard time or vicious downturn or market situation or socioeconomic situation. Like they have genuinely seen their fair share of shit and somehow have managed to persevere and keep the same business going and build the same business model for 5+ years. And so I made the hard decision to stick to building my agency for what I wanted to do was basically what I have done. And that's build it for over 5 years. And then at some point, I had always planned to create some kind of an info product had I succeeded, which, I mean, it still is my primary source of income on this very day. And it's April of 2025. And I started this thing in like 2019, whatever it was, like just before the big COVID shit hit. And yeah, I think I'm finally at that point now. And I've really just been delving into what it looks like to build out the logistics, the back end, like how can I build out a proper agency course, from everything from filming the course modules to planning out those modules and what I want to cover and how I want to break each individual step down in a way that my younger self would have been able to learn from and to leverage and to actually go out there and get clients, as opposed to creating one of those courses that's like the monthly recurring revenue model where I give just enough information where they have to keep coming back to me. You know, I don't want to create something like that. I want to create something where it gives you just enough information that you need to be lethal, and then completely focuses on sending you out to the marketplace to execute on those tasks, on those strategies, whatever it is, whether it's signing clients, whether it's going out and networking to get clients, if it's creating content that attracts clients, showcasing your work, building a portfolio, having some kind of a free value offer at the beginning, just really figuring out how to build out each of these modules so that it makes sense to someone who's maybe fairly established or just starting out and trying to scale up, and that focuses on getting them to do the execution, to stop learning and start earning, but to also give them some sense of a community that I didn't have, that I just didn't have. I didn't have anybody. I didn't meet another agency owner until year 3 of running my business, or 2.5 years or something like that, when I finally took the leap, packed up everything that I owned, which was very minimal, into my car, and I drove to South Carolina because a close friend of mine convinced me that, you know, I was suffocating myself and my business by just staying in that small hometown and just doing purely like online communications and sales and stuff, that I could just open a bunch of doors for myself in South Carolina. And that this place, the Grand Strand that I'm on now, he said it was exploding with businesses and with potential and opportunity, and that the chamber was super active. So, you know, I took that leap, and I remember when I took that leap too, I was in a pretty sticky situation. Like the agency that I had built up for 2 years took a massive hit when COVID came around, literally in year 2 of my business. I started it in 2019 while still in college, and then 2020 hits. And when 60 or 70% of the clients that I had signed on retainer at that point in time were brick and mortar based businesses that were forced to close their doors. I mean, I got phone calls over the course of 2 weeks that literally nipped 80% of the revenue and profit that I was making. So I had to adapt, I had to adjust, I had to just continue to press onward. And I did. And I even had to pick up some part-time work on the weekends, just to make sure that I was going to be able to continue to focus on building my agency over the long term. I did whatever I had to do. And so with that being said, I'm looking at the community proponent as well. I want that to be integrated into this info product, as many of them have them from what I've seen, like something like a Discord community or something, where not just where guys can flex and like share wins and stuff, but where there's actual legitimate communication channels where guys can share even the small successes that they're having and how they manage to pull it off and communicate with one another and kind of share ideas and strategies that are working. And also just have like the sense of not being alone that I never got to have, being surrounded by other guys that are trying to do the same thing and can share ideas with and link up with and communicate with. And then also simultaneously to have a communication channel where guys can just ask those questions that they're scouring YouTube for, and all they're getting on YouTube is pitched or sold on another course. Like they're being given like 5% of the information and then have someone trying to sell them on the other 95% of it. Like I would love to just have a community where guys can throw whatever questions they have, no matter how stupid they may feel like that question is, and I can go in and just spend some time on a day-to-day basis just literally answering some of their questions. Because I've had to try just about everything with this agency model. And yeah, it worked out for me. Does it work out for everybody? Fuck no. 99% of the guys I met along the way that were pursuing this endeavor are not in the agency game anymore. They jumped off and they either went on to getting a job or whatever that was, or they jumped into, e-commerce or drop shipping or FBA. Like they jumped into all these different things and just kept going around. Me, I chose to just press on even when the times got tough with the agency model, because I knew that the business model, the online business model, didn't necessarily matter as much as everyone makes you think. Like they all fucking work. Every single online business model that you have probably heard about, e-com, dropshipping, FBA, fucking marketing agencies, so SMMA, all this stuff, it all works if you're willing to work. It all can be built into a successful business if you're willing to build the man and become the man worthy of building a successful business. If you're willing to have the grit to stick it out even when times get tough, to do whatever it is that you have to do, to not get emotionally attached or have an ego that revolves around your new business or your new life as an entrepreneur. It's like I said, when times got really tough, that second year, like COVID hit, I lost 80% of my revenue in like 2-3 weeks. And I just was like, okay, like I need to figure something out. In the meantime, I'm going to pick up some part-time work on the weekends so I can keep cranking on this agency Monday through Friday. And I did it. And so building out this community, figuring out the platform that I want to use, how I want to structure it, scripting the info product itself, like the actual course. And really, like I said, it's just been some very sleepless nights for me. But I love every minute of it. Like I love the trenches. I love the struggle. I love the sleepless nights because I am hyper fixated and completely and utterly obsessed with building something. Like these are the moments I live for. And while I don't necessarily feel my best right now, physically speaking, I feel my best mentally. Like I feel like I have a sense of purpose and I'm driving towards attaining my goals and building out this thing each and every day, regardless of how I feel. And I know that oftentimes it's the things that I've had to make the most sacrifices to build that have paid off the most, much like with my agency. Like I said, it's my primary source of income to this day. I've been in the agency space for over 6.5 years. I'm going on 7 years now. And it's one of, if not the hardest business I ever had to build and maintain and keep going and scale. So I think that this thing, I feel good about it. I genuinely feel good about being able to create an info product at this stage in my life. When I tried initially, or I had the initial inclination to do so earlier on in my journey, I remember literally feeling like sleazy about it. I was like, man, like, who are you to talk on this shit? Like, yeah, you've attained something that most people haven't attained in a short time horizon. And you've done it under certain circumstances, in a certain environment that most people can't accomplish this thing. In fact, most people have better environments and better circumstances to build this kind of a business. They have access to local businesses that they can tap into in local markets that you didn't have. But regardless of that fact, I was just like, man, I just need more time in this game. I need to feel good about launching this thing. And so now I'm building it, and I feel really cool about it. I'm really excited to go through this process, and then to go about the process of building out whatever it ends up being, some kind of like an application form or something, and starting to take some of the initial sales calls for it and getting the first couple guys in, and just being able to actually genuinely take sales calls and like vet guys to see if they have the grit that I know that I had to have when I was younger. And then just giving them a platform, giving them the information that they need, all of the information they need to build a business, without any of the fluff or the bullshit information that I oftentimes see included in people's YouTube videos or their courses revolving around the agency space. And then to just give them that sense of community as well, like the Discord channel, to give them a community that they can be a part of, so that they can have something that I never had. And that was like just other people trying to do the same thing as they were doing, that they can communicate with, they can share wins with. And then the other thing I was thinking about, that I want to add to this as well. I know I'm kind of rambling for quite some time now on this, but I also want to do like the live calls. I think live calls are of great value when done right. I think a lot of live calls is just like, hey, we're going to just host this live call and we're basically going to flex on you on like, this is how much we're making and why aren't you doing it? Like accountability calls. I'm not really looking to go that route necessarily. I'm more interested in, again, creating a product, creating live calls that my younger self would have tuned into and would have gotten value out of in building his agency. And so I honestly just want to do like one call a week will be on some kind of a subject matter. So it'll be like an hour-long call simply on, let's say, how to source leads, like local business owner leads for your marketing agency, or how to do outreach to local business leads, et cetera, et cetera. And then have a second live call every single week where it's literally just an open forum Q&A. Like I know that there would be just so much value in that alone for a community. To be able to jump on a live Q&A call with myself, someone who's been an agency owner for, I've said it time and time again, over 6.5 fucking years. And to just be able to ask questions like, hey man, I have this client I reached out to, I offered to do a free promo video for them, as you said, and they're interested. I went in, I filmed the video. How should I go about delivering the video to them? Should I just send it in Google Drive, in an email, or should I drop by in person and drop it off? And I can just give them the exact blueprint as to how I've gone about it, which is go into the shop or go into the place if you can, drop the video off in person, witness their reaction to that video that you created for them, which if you've done a good job is going to be a positive reaction. And then just literally be like, great, I'm so glad you enjoyed this. Spend time just focusing on talking to them about them and their business and, oh, this place is great and blah, blah, blah. And then just walk out the door. It's like trying to pick up women, you know? It's like make the compliment and walk away. and let the man that you've built or the skill sets that you have attract them to you. Let them chase you out the door with questions. And I can tell you from personal experience, 85, 90% of the time, when I do that, I go to walk out that door and they stop me. And they're like, hey, like, what does it look like for you to do like some more videos like this for us, or to do some of this content on a monthly basis for us, or manage our social media presence? And then, oh, well, that sounds great. I'll tell you what, I'll throw together like a proposal, give them a little bit of details on how it looks, what it's like. You know, we can customize all the deliverables, the price points, make sure it fits your budget over a long-term time horizon. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll throw together a proposal if you guys would like. And I'll just include like 3 sample packages. Again, all of these will be able to be changed and altered to fit your needs. And we'll sit down, go over what those 3 sample packages would look like. We'll dial one of them into exactly what you guys need and what fits your budget. And then we'll go from there. And to just have that open dialogue with someone on a live call, I think would just be so cool. To be able to answer those little questions that people have, or bring, you know, I think when I was first starting out, sometimes it was just like the smallest little minute details or minute problems that really took up so much of my mental bandwidth with growing my agency, and I got so caught up on. And to just help someone to stop overthinking. Going back to what I said before, to stop learning and start earning. Where it's not like they have to, oh, I'm going to dive back into the course and maybe I missed something in the modules. I'm going to rewatch the course for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. It's like, sure, you can do that and refresh yourself on it and take notes and whatnot with the course I'm going to build. But you can also just jump on the Q&A live call for that week and just ask away, you know, just ask your simple questions and I can give you a very basic approach. I can tell you exactly what has worked for me because I've tried everything. And being that I grew up in, again, a rural environment where I had to adapt, I had to learn how to sell people online for the first time. I had to learn how to do outreach for the first time. I had to learn how to source leads in cities and areas that I had literally never been to. And I think with having to go about doing a lot of the groundwork for my agency at the beginning, the hard way, I really have that perspective where I've tried it all. I've tried everything. And I wasn't even able to start teasing my mind with the idea of the 80-20 principle until probably year 2 or 3. Like, because I literally had to just keep trying shit because 90% of, or 80 or 90% of what I was trying wasn't fucking working. Or at least it sure as hell wasn't getting me to the point where I was paying the bills. So I'm just really excited. That's all it is. And that's all this video is really too, is like showing you the behind the scenes in the trenches of building my first info product after actually having a successful agency for over 6.5 years. And I'm just really excited. It's something I dreamed of doing in my earlier years. I just didn't feel that it aligned with my moral codes in life to create that course until I had 5+ years under my belt. So now here we are, and I'm looking forward to building this out over the next month or 2, and then releasing it to the market and getting our first handful of guys in there and teaching some other guys and starting to multiply the results that the world is able to experience, or the people in that course or program are able to experience, versus just building my agency. It's like my clients benefit, I benefit, my partners benefit, the contractors that do work for me benefit. But I think that the info product space also gets like a really bad rep and reasonably so. A lot of these guys I see online are absolute sleazeballs, and they have never practiced what they're preaching, ever, not a day in their fucking lives. And so I think that if you genuinely know what it's like to run a successful business, and in particular, in this case, an agency, and you are actually doing it on a day-to-day basis, it enables you to much more efficiently and effectively teach other people to do even what you're doing at, a 20 or 30% capacity of what you're doing. If I taught someone to go out there that was in the situation that I was in when I was younger and make 30 or 40% of the money that I'm making with my agency now, and experience 30 or 40% of the level of success that I've achieved with my agency at this very point in my life, that would be life-changing to someone in that scenario. Completely life-changing. Like, they would be able to, maybe they're living with their parents, maybe they're crashing with 4 or 5 buddies of theirs so they can afford to rent or whatever it is, and they can finally go out on their own, get their own space, like have better relationships with the people around them, be able to host things for the first time in their lives. Like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't take that much. And it's just really exciting to me to know that I have finally laid the groundwork, and I have the knowledge and the experience and the infrastructure in place to genuinely go out there, build an exceptional product that literally will sell itself, create content revolving around that, build up rapport, build up my personal brand, funnel that traffic there, and hopefully build a course and a community and a program that enables guys to literally change their lives, which I genuinely, I know to be possible, because here I am, and everything that I have, from all the equipment, like the camera I'm even shooting on at this point in time and that I use for my client stuff, just all my firearm collection, like the brand new truck I bought last year. There's just so much that I've managed to achieve and attain purely from building my own agency and making money. So it's also enabled me to do a lot of build other cool organizations, and like the Underground Kings Club, I'm building my private men's network, and all of these other ventures that I have, my podcast, just building a sick social circle to hang around and lift weights with and experience life with and go to dinners with and talk business with. It's just so cool what the agency space and what building a real genuine business has enabled me to do. And I want to create that opportunity for other people. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to this rant, this sleep-deprived rant, if you will. And I look forward to continuing to document this journey, and I want to start putting out more vlogs on this channel and showing you guys more of like what the life looks like what it looks like to be building and scaling businesses and building connections, building the Underground Kings Club, building this program, building my personal brand, whatever it is. Like, honestly, just going to the gun range and shooting guns and having fun, like living fucking life, hanging out with your boys. And so I want to just continue to build this brand and create content around also the agency space, integrate that into the vlogs, into some of the videos. And really the comment section on some of these YouTube videos is just such exceptional feedback for how small my channel is at the moment too, to just be getting that feedback from some of you guys and hearing the questions that you guys actually have, and that enabling me to create even more content and answer some of those questions or address some of those things, or to work those into the products that I'm now building, like this info product I'm building. A lot of the infrastructure comes from not just the struggles and the questions that I've had, but the struggles and the questions that I see a lot of you guys have when it comes to building your business, to struggles you have in life, and why maybe pursuing building a business would be for you, or maybe for some of you it's not. I know a lot of buddies of mine that work the 9-to-5 job, they're part of the rat race, whatever you want to say, the matrix, that are probably happier and more content than I'll ever be. Like, I just wasn't wired that way. And so for those of you that just aren't wired that way, I want to be here as a guide, to be here as someone that you can look to for advice and for direction, and how to actually make it happen. Like, how to legitimately build a business. I'm not going to be building a course or building into my program like e-com and this, that, and the other thing. You know why? Because I have not been in e-com. Have I sold products online? Yeah, at certain points or stages. I know for a fact I've sold some clothing products and whatnot online. But I am by no means in a position to be speaking to the masses about how to succeed in e-com, because my real success has come from building an agency. And I know the inner workings of an agency. And I'm only willing to teach what I actually genuinely know how to do. That's the problem with like our modern school system right now. Is like, you pay a ridiculous amount of money. In most cases, people go $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in student loan debt to sit in a room, and in particular with like business classes like that I took, I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, like, you are here teaching me business because you couldn't cut it in business, because you didn't experience success in business, and now you're here teaching it. And I think that that's the beauty of the info product space. If it's done right, if it's done on proper moral grounds and you're being taught by someone with genuine experience and knowledge in a space, I think that info products are a great thing, because they combat the traditional broken education system, where you can actually, if you buy an info product from the right person, or you learn or get a mentorship or whatever it is from the right person, you are learning from people who have actually done the thing. It's like the age-old saying, like, those that can do, those that can't teach. And I think that the online info product space, or e-learning space, whatever you want to call it, the course gurus, the proper course gurus, are actually guys who have done, that are out here teaching. And you just have to do your due diligence and do your research, reach out to these people, jump on a sales call with them, whatever you got to do to find out and vet them. Do your research, check all their Instagram, all of their YouTube videos. Like, just look at what they've been actually doing and look for the social proof that they've shared. And if you find somebody that you resonate with, maybe you resonate with their journey, with their personality, with their approach to business and life in general. If that's the case, then you've probably found yourself someone that would be a good teacher. It's like you actually get to pick your teachers now, as opposed to going to business school and just sitting in a room with whoever the college campus has decided is a decent enough person to teach you business, even though they haven't achieved anything in business necessarily. And is that always the case? No, but in 99.99% of cases, that is what's going on. Like, you're learning from someone that couldn't cut it, that couldn't do it. So anyways, I'm going to get on with my day. I'm actually going to jump into some agency work, and then I've been spending my evenings working on this info product thing. But probably going to chop up this video, get it out on YouTube for you all, get some agency work done, and then later on in the day, I'll be working on more of the infrastructure and back end for this program that I'm looking at coming out with, that I believe we're going to be calling. I want it to be in line and in brand with the Underground Kings Club brand that I have built, as almost like, not necessarily a pipeline. Like, it just doesn't have to lead into you becoming an Underground Kings Club member, but we have vetting principles when it comes to the Underground Kings Club, my private men's network. It's highly vetted, and we vet guys predicated upon their overarching character, their physical capability, like their physical aptitude, as well as, quite frankly, their financial status, like how successful they've been, and are they Are they guys who have actually done the thing already, so that we can get more of those guys around each other to collaborate, to network, to build personal brands together, all that good stuff. But regardless of whether or not this program would end up leading to people joining that, does not necessarily matter to me. But I do think that building out a pipeline to put guys in a position where they would at least be ideal candidates for that is what setting people up for success would look like. So I think I want to brand it something similar to that, or underneath the Underground Kings umbrella. So I'm thinking probably the Underground Kings Academy I've already got the Instagram claimed, like premeditated on this a little bit. And I think that I'll probably end up going that route from just the overarching branding, the name of this thing. And yeah, I'm really genuinely excited by this. And I know I've been rambling for quite some time, and I highly doubt a lot of people have stuck around to this point, but I appreciate each and every one of you that watches my videos and that is tapped into what I'm building and what I'm trying to do out here. And I just look forward to continuing to bring value to you guys as my audience, to continuing to build and grow the amount of people that I can make an impact on and that I can bring value to enable more of you to go out and become the man worthy of the life that you desire, and to do right by other people, to do right by your parents that brought you into this world, and to make the people proud that you want to make proud, and accomplish the things that you're striving to accomplish in business, in life, etc. And to just genuinely be an honorable person. Yeah, I think this introducing this program, building this out, is that next step for me to continue to bring value, to bring more value, and to be able to go deeper and build a community around my personal brand and around the knowledge and experience that I have in this world, and to help a lot of you to improve your lives. Thanks again for tuning in, for anybody that's still hanging around. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay honorable, and God bless.